Let's see, time now is 8:51. More than 25,000 people may be due compensation from HSBC for charges added to loans some years ago.
The bank's asking anyone who thinks they may have been affected to get in touch with it.
Let's get more from Paul Lewis from Ready For's Money Box programme. Morning to you, Paul.
Hello.
So just explain, what were these schemes? Who are the people who might be in for some cash?
Well, it goes back a long way to the early 2000s. These are people who had loans or credit cards with HFC Bank, which is owned by HSBC, or in very few cases, John Lewis Financial Services. Now, they got into trouble. They were taken to court, or at least they were written to by solicitors, I should say. And at that point, a big charge was added to pay for the costs of recovery. And that charge was ruled to be unreasonable. Some say it was more than that, that it was unlawful or illegal. But in any case, the banks agreed no longer to do it. And a long time later, HSBC has decided it will repay those charges plus interest. We don't quite know how much it will be per person. At the least, it will be over £1,000 each. It could be a lot more.
So with these compensation things, Paul, how would people know they were affected? How can you check?
Well, this is the problem, because it was so long ago. We're told a lot of the records just don't exist anymore at the banks or the courts end. We've told that anyway. And many of us don't keep our paperwork for 12, 15 years. So what the bank has now said, which is a new development in the last few days, that they will accept people's recollections. And the key things to remember are, did you have a loan with or a credit card with HFC Bank or indeed John Lewis Financial Services? Did you get into difficulties? And were you written to by one of two solicitors, one called Waitman's and one called Reston's? Now, if any of that rings a bell, you may well be entitled to this compensation, so you should contact HSBC.
And what kind of figures are we talking about, Paul?
Well, it's very hard to know. Initially, the estimates from some figures from the Financial Conduct Authority, the HSBC won't share any figures with me at all. We were thinking it would be an average of about £600 plus interest, which going back that long will double that to £1,200. It could be more. I've seen some people whose charges were way above that. So these are significant sums of money, and it's going to cost the bank many millions of pounds if people come forward. It has written to these 25,200 people, or it is writing to them. So don't ignore the letter, but it does say there may be others, and they should get in touch. I say it says there may be others. It believes there aren't any, but it invites anyone who's involved to get in touch with it.
Is there going to come a point, Paul, where we stop talking about compensation claims? Because, there have been so many issues, haven't there? Are we coming to a point where they are going to be resolved? Or it seems like there's another one all the time.
Well, banking business is very complicated. Sometimes the banks go a bit too far. They certainly went far too far in this case. We've still got payment protection insurance claims going in and hundreds of millions of pounds a month being paid to people. I don't know if it will ever end, but I think the important thing is that HSBC has at last fessed up, if you like, and said, yes, this was wrong. We are going to pay compensation. The argument now is about who will get it and how many there are.
Paul, thank you very much. More, of course, from Paul's team on BBC Radio 4's Money Box. That's at midday today.
What did you want to say, Paul?
Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you, Paul? Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say that neither of those solicitors I mentioned will make any comment. HSBC told me they believe they have identified all of those affected, but anyone can call their helpline number, which we'll have on the BBC Money Box website. That's there now.
Note to myself, always make sure that Paul Lewis is allowed to finish his sentences. Very